Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Mike with smartoptiontrain.com. It is Sunday, the 29th of June. This is my week ahead video. I'm putting this out there for free today because I'm not going to do charts today. Why I'm not going to do a charts today? One, I'm not feeling all that great. I've come down with a little bit of something going on in my head, so hopefully it's nothing big. But also because it's a short week and really nothing really changed between last week and this week. The names that were strong kept pushing, and the ones that weren't kind of just continue to lag. So let's talk about this week coming up. And my theme for this week is don't get cute. Okay. We're going into a slow week. It is the 4th of July holiday next weekend. The markets have a half day. They close at 1 on Thursday. They're closed on Friday. And so, volume is going to be low. A lot of people are already going to be gone, right? They're not going to be around trading. So don't get cute. Don't try to outthink the market. Don't try to, overthink it. This is the last week before we go into earnings season again. So week after we come back, start seeing some names start popping up, and then we really start to get to swing the week later. So that means this week, from an earnings perspective, there's absolutely nothing going on here, courtesy of my friends over at Earnings Hub. Okay. And then from an economic perspective, I get this at Trader Exchange. By the way, I'll give you a link for that below if you guys want to sign up. Love their service. Okay. It's kind of more of a busier week than I originally thought. So they decided to move the job information into this week. So we have Chicago PMI on Thursday morning and 9:45 on Tuesday. We have PMI manufacturing final and ISM manufacturing at 10, along with the JOLTS jobs number and construction spending. Right. Powell's also scheduled to speak here on Tuesday. I'm not sure what else he could possibly say. Challenger job cuts on Wednesday with the ADP employment report, and then non-farm payroll on Thursday morning, along with PMI composite and factory orders. So you guys get the idea. We have some data coming at this. This is interesting that they decided to throw this into the short week. All right, so let's go into it. We'll start off with the ES, and you can see we've had this big levitation up higher. Last Monday we came in, everybody's like, we've talked about it here extensively. If you're not with us, we talked about that once the bombs drop, typically the low of the market comes in at that point, and then we rally. And sure enough, bombs dropped over and over the weekend. And while we opened up weak by, on last Monday, look at the size of that candle engulfed the previous day on the ES and up, and you have a 5-day big move up here now on the ES and trading at a new all-time high. The NQ saying, "Yep, I'm there with you." Crude, all that move given back remains weak, back down in the 65 area. This is good. All right. Cheap oil is good for the economy. It's not inflationary. Bonds continue to try to strengthen up in this little uptrend here off the lows. I'm not going to say that they look particularly great or special, but they're off the lows and they're pushing up, and you have a little bit of a uptrend here. You can keep an eye on, right? So that's good. Bitcoin, nice move off the lows last week, stalled out here, but not far from the all-time high. The VIX got smashed back down well under 20 again and into the range lows. So this is good. HYG has been leading us higher. And, when you look at HYG, something you're going to notice here is, yeah, we're not that far from all-time highs. It is. This is a slow mover, but bottom line is nice recovery here, has pushed back up, and overall, um, looking good and leading us up. And that was the first clue that we were in a rally, because when the markets were putzing around, HYG was already trying to move. Transports, despite FedEx's miserable report, nearly range highs, trying to break to the upside. That would be good leadership if that will continue. And the dollar remains very weak. Short term, that's very good for stocks. Eventually, that could become problematic. All right, so let's go to the SPY. So we've had 5 up days in a row here. One, two, three, four, five. This was a green day, believe it or not. It shows red, but it was green. And we're extended. Now, could we keep melting up? Absolutely. As we posted in the room, I think it was Chris that shared that there's $7 trillion on the sidelines looking to come in. And that money's going to start to chase because it just cannot stand. And what happened here is, we were buying heavily here. I bought heavily. People in our room, we were buying into this day, right? We weren't buying here, right? We weren't buying here. I'm sorry, we're buying in here, right? We're waiting for a clearer signal to figure things out. All right. So now you have this big move up and this 5-day move up, and we're looking great. Are we extended? A little bit extended. We could pull back. You have an open gap that wasn't touched, right? Downtrend break, gap up, and rally. Let's talk about some things that have been going on out there. One, Trump Musk feud looks like it's back on. Trump said some nasty Musk said some nasty tweets about the big beautiful bill. The big beautiful bill, as of 8 o'clock this morning, has just passed a procedural vote in the Senate. It requires another vote, and then it has to go back to the House, and that will continue to be played out. All 22 banks on Friday night passed their stress test. This is good. And the market's going to come back to focusing on tariffs. We have very little time, about a week left before the deadline. We don't have any deals officially signed. The UK one is not signed. The China one was signed, but it's not really a deal. It's just it's more of a sensation of hostilities with the tariffs at 50% on China still. That is a basically an embargo for many companies to do business with them. This is going to be a big week. On Friday, Trump announced we are no longer um, doing trade talks with Canada because he's upset with them over their digital tax bill. So, this is going to start getting a little bit more noisome here. So just keep that in mind. So for this week, do we levy up? If we do, 620, your next big target to the downside. As long as we continue to hold the 8-day, we look absolutely fine. So where else been leading? The banks. Strong move on the banks here. Not quite the all-time high, but very close, right, from earlier this year. Looks very strong on the banks, and you've had your big banks leading. After hours, they didn't do much reaction to it, just as an FYI. JP Morgan, best in breed, right? The good news is when they pass the stress test like this, then the banks can come out and do capital returns. So I would watch for names like, probably the next day or two for JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, et cetera, Bank of America, all start announcing additional new buybacks and dividends. That's when they do them after these stress tests. So, they've already front run it, and that's probably what happened here. That's why JP Morgan new all-time high, looking good. Same thing with Goldman Sachs. Right. So we'll start looking for those to see what they do. Wells Fargo has had a range high, but they've all kind of been lagging the rest of the moves, and also all been looking good. Energy, to me, not the place to be right now. The small caps, nice little attempt to break out, but did not hold it into the close. So first push over the 200-day didn't hold it. We'll continue to keep an eye on that. Crypto coin has had a monster move, and really look at the size of this move. You had a down day, some profit taking on Friday. See if it holds the 8-day. If it does, it's fine. It's setting up the move for the all-time high. And again, I think it's going to try to go up and get that all-time high of 529.54. Overall, looking very good on coin. Hood, you had a down candle, but held in better on Friday. Still holding above the 8-day, held 82. As long as it holds the 8-day, this trend remains intact, right? The trend is your friend. Don't fight it. This thing feels like it kind of wants to try to get to 100 if we hold up. MSTR, I did trade on Friday. I'm still holding a couple calls. I don't remember if I put a stop in or not. I'm gonna have to go check because I left the room early on Friday, but I did sell a bunch for a nice profit on it. Looking to try to get up to that 400 area. This gap here is gone and filled, but couldn't hold it and closed the week. A lot of volume came in. Look at that. Yeah, it came right back down. This needs to wake up 400, then you look up towards that 430 area. So overall, they're looking fairly good, a lot of these names. Uh, let's put Circle in here because it's a crypto name. Circle lost the 8-day. We shorted this. By the way, that was a great call out by Doug in our trading room to short it. I wasn't paying attention to it. I did, made some very nice money off of it. And again, the valuation was just absolutely ludicrous up here. And we see them do this stuff with names all the time. And maybe it wants to come down and find that 21-day around 158. Remember, it IPO'd, its price was in the 40s. So, the valuation is off the hook. All right, let's go to the semis next. The semis pushing up. Your all-time high is at 283.07. We're just a couple bucks shy of it. And you've had some leaders that you would not expect there. ARM breaking nicely to the upside there. It looks very good. Not an all-time high, but there it is up there at that 108 area, but looking strong. A nice little move up, pushing nicely. So you have names like ARM that have been leading. Taiwan Semi said, nope, I got this. New all-time high there. Obviously, they're just knocking out of the park. They are the best chip maker out there right now. Micron, after earnings, still not doing much, but not falling apart. So we'll put this on our radar for this week. Reason being here, it held the 8-day. It's holding fine. We have that gap up there. I thought it was a good report. InSmell, InSmell, I really just can't with this company. I just don't know. It's just so many better names to play out there. It had a nice little attempt to break out on Friday, but couldn't hold. Nvidia, new all-time highs, strong. Any kind of dips, probably buyable. AMD still holding strong. Look at that move up. Couldn't hold the breakout, but didn't fall apart either. Overall, they look good. In software space, Oracle, nice little digestion pattern holding the 8 day. You can stay long versus the 8 day or try buys off the 8 day. Overall, looking good and watching this one for a breakout here above that 217 area. Palantir got hit hard on Friday on big volume. Why? Because this thing has just running around amok. And then, you get people like Jim Cramer coming out and saying Palantir, is a $200 company, is a $200 company, it's going right there. And then, people get too caught up in that and they get caught. Bottom line is, time to buy this thing was not now, was a while ago, but nice move here. We'll see if it holds that 50-day down here as it comes down. CRM trying to perk up here as well for what it's worth. Oh, let's take a look. What else we got? We got names like Boeing have woken up here nicely. Nice move up on Boeing on Friday. We traded that, made nice money on it. I don't trust this name, but waking up and it seems to be throwing off the Air India problems. Names like Cat have broken out. Home Depot, nice little move there as we're into the heat season there. Costco, Walmart, these names are just kind of quietly hanging out down here right now. In the payment space, it just kind of remains difficult. PayPal, not doing anything. Same thing with Block, right? Nice little push, but not doing anything. Affirm, pretty quiet, but curling up, seeing that gap. Visa, MasterCard, not a lot going on there either. And that brings us over to food stocks, McDonald's. Nothing going on here, guys. That's why I'm not charting it. Nice little candle, but don't trust it. Starbucks, not much going on there, right? You look around. Cava has been kind of quiet. Celsius, yeah, okay. CMG's had a nice little push back to the 200-day. It's got a break back above that. Biotech has not been the place to be and remains kind of a mess, whether it's J&J or Merck or Lilly, which was rejected hard at the 200-day a week and a half ago. It's not looking good. Hims, I'm pretty much avoiding this name at this point. I can't tell you what to do, but this name to me is just bloody dangerous at this point. This big down move was for a reason. This big down move was on that they Novo Nordisk ended their partnership with them, and they can no longer make their drugs and sell them and or whatever. And him says we're going to do it anyway. I'm like, okay, that's a lawsuit that is threatening to happen. By the way, without that deal with Novo Nordisk, this company's financials are a mess. So be careful there. All right, this is a longer video, but we wanted a lot we wanted to talk about here. Microsoft, new all-time highs on Friday, just keeps pushing up. It's not flying, but looks great. Amazon, boy, I'll tell you, Amazon took me for a nice loss on Friday. And I was right. It was breaking out, but look at this action, and this is how it got me. I got into it up in here, I'm like, looked great, look good. And then all of a sudden you got this breakdown. And look how weak it got, right? And it really did come down again. It was ugly. And then look at this close. This is overall to me a good sign for the stock. They're buying it here, rotation, nice move up here. And, if this one wants to wake up, 242, your all-time high. Google saying, don't forget about me. I'm coming up. So, we'll see if it can take out this 181 area and then break out to the upside. It's nice to see these names both waking up. They've been lagging the markets. Meta, nice move there. Your all-time high is 740.91, very close. Expect us to get that this week if nothing happens. Netflix, new all-time highs. I mean, this thing since earnings has been absolutely on a monstrous tear. What else we have out there, guys? Yeah, this one, Apple and Tesla. Apple. Apple here to me, this is just dead money. A lot of people want to pump this thing and blah, blah. It's just out of play. There's nothing going on here right now. When it wakes up, it wakes up. But you'll notice here's your highs, right? We haven't seen these in a while. The market's back at all-time highs. It has not participated in this bounce. Look at the size of the market. The market came down with it and put it all the way back up here. We haven't even taken back a third of this, right? We still have this big gap sitting here. We haven't been able to get into it. This downtrend, which I've drawn here, I drew it this way. Now, some people are going to draw it differently. They'll take it off of here through here and down. But it doesn't matter where you take it. You have a downtrend here, and we didn't, there was validity to it because it kept touching it. But you didn't go through it. You went sideways through it, and it just doesn't look very good. And then we have Tesla. So Tesla, Musk is again mouthing off about the bill. We'll see what happens with him and Trump. This could be part two there. Bottom line is Tesla is not trading well. We know delivery numbers are due, I think this week. I'm pretty sure. And we're not going to be good. They cannot be good. We know that, so nobody's expecting that. So I think any weakness on that's probably a buy, but you have to watch how things go with him and Trump. And bottom line is, this was the pop on Monday, made nice money on that, and then it gave no reason for a day two, and here it is back down into the muck. All right, guys, I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to join us in our trading room. We'd love to have you. I hope you're all doing well. Again, theme of this week, don't get cute. Focus on the strong names. Don't overtrade. It's going to be thin. It's going to be slow. Catch you guys live tomorrow starting at 9.